Om Jnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Shreshtham Manamapi Satchiputramatra Surupam Rupam Tasya Grajamurupurim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Ataf Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagarna Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagarna Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Many important things to say during the next 3 days. The first thing is, when you're in the temple hall, have your phone off, please. Thank you very much. If you don't have it off now, please put it off right away. Okay, there are more important instructions than that, but that's the first one. I'll give the meaning of this song. First of all, I should thank all devotees for coming. Presumably more are coming, because you can't have a festival without people. Of course, Gorky Das Babaji did once. That's described in that Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav. He had a festival all by himself, but he's never by himself, because he's always associating with people that we can't see. That was after he'd instructed Siddhanta Saraswati about not going to festivals full of sahajiyas. He said, it's better, we can have I'll do a festival just here with himself. That's all. So yeah, thank you for coming, and a very big thank you to the local devotees, headed by Harivilas Prabhu, fondly known as Uncle Hari, who is really an uncle to all the devotees here, spiritual uncle. And first of all, for establishing this facility, superb facility. I think this is the first real temple, custom-built temple in North America after Srila Prabhupada left, or any major building requirement. After that came Houston just recently, which is really quite an astonishing temple, even by Indian standards. Of course, if you have a few $1 million in your pocket, you can do it. Not to take away from their great achievement. So the real temple is not so much the building. There are many beautiful buildings all over the world. Probably the most famous building from the architectural, touristic point of view in the world is, what do you think? Taj Mahal, that's what I was thinking of. Maybe the World Trade Center, which has become more famous, but it's not there anymore. And the Empire State Building is probably more famous in America. But the Taj Mahal, but no one goes there to meet the people there or to savor maybe the atmosphere of the moonlight and this and that. But it's, I've never been there, but it's literally a dead place. Why? It's a mausoleum. You know what that means? It's a fancy tomb. That's what it was built for, the wife of who? Someone who knows? Shah Jahan. he built this. Of course, P.N. Oak says that it was originally a Hindu temple, but that may or may not be true. But you won't get any spiritual atmosphere in the Taj Mahal. And even there may be beautiful temples, but what really makes them beautiful is gives the feeling, is the devotion of the devotees. And the devotees here are exceptional in hosting all the visiting devotees, not only letting but welcoming into their house, into their houses, people who they never met before. They don't know their names even before they came. So that's a great spirit of trust. And not only that, but going at all times and day of night to pick devotees up from the airport. That's unimaginable. I think that's pretty much unimaginable in regular Western society, that you just have someone come into your house who you don't know and welcome them and serve them. So this is Vaishnava culture at its best. That was a year or two ago. I was in Sheffield, a city in England, and I was quite surprised because I was staying there overnight with one devotee was with me, and husband and wife. He's from a Sikh background, born in India, and she's from Ukraine, I think. And we went in at night, and they welcomed us in their home, and they went off early in the morning, earlier than us. We left about 8 o'clock, and they left earlier for work, and just said, just close the door when you go. People don't do that, just leave you alone in their house. But there's a lot of trust which we should live up to. Many years ago, Janananda Goswami, I don't think you know him, he hasn't come here. That time he was Janananda, I think he was my first friend in Krishna consciousness, and still is. He told me he was hitchhiking in England because he didn't have any money. He was opening up a preaching center in what from the English point of view is a far-off, remote place, Newcastle. And he was said, okay, you go and preach there. But there was no money, no manpower, just, okay, do it. So he didn't have any money. So he's hitchhiking, and one woman picked him up, and she said, I don't normally pick people up, but I know, because he was in his devotee clothes, I know that you're a good person. So that's good. Devotees should have that reputation, and definitely, I know you're not doing it for reputation, but definitely devotees who come here and are hosted by all of you are going to tell others with thankfulness how you were received. Yeah. So thanks to all. If you get a chance, go out to see Harivilas Prabhu and Madhav Chandra Prabhu. The land they've taken just 9 miles from here. I went out yesterday. I was feeling bombed out by cumulative jet lag, but when I went there, it was so enlivened to see the second phase of Srila Prabhupada's movement, beginning of that, because I'm also trying to do the same thing in India. If Srila Prabhupada wanted to start rural projects, and it's very enlivening to see how devotees are putting their heart and soul into that, and how Mother Earth reciprocates and Mother Cow reciprocates. People can't imagine living like that. It's a common thing that people, even if there's food growing all around them, now in the modern age, they don't trust it unless they buy it from the shop. There may be some fruit. I've seen in Europe, fruit growing on trees, just wild. People won't buy it, but they won't pluck it, or they'll go to the shop and buy it. Because somehow they feel food comes from a shop. There's something wrong with it if it doesn't come from a shop. On that subject, there's in one of the books by Dr. Sahadev Das. I don't know if you've seen his books. I'm a fan of his books. I can't read them all because he produces so many books. One of his books about simple living, and he has so many books on so many subjects. So he has one anecdote. Do you know Tesco? Do you have Tesco in America? No, it's something like, I guess, Walmart, something like that. So there's a story from England where a woman, she wrote into a paper, she told this story. She has an allotment. That in England, an allotment means the local corporation, municipal corporation, they have land which they rent out for people to grow vegetables, for local people to grow vegetables. It's just like in Russia. People have their dacha just outside the city, and they grow food there. So not many people do that. Most people like to buy their food from Tesco. All the carrots exactly the same size, with no little knobbles on them, completely straight. So this woman described, she went with her 5-year-old daughter and her 5-year-old daughter's 5-year-old friend to the allotment once. And she pulled some carrots out of the ground and said, look, nice carrots. And naturally there's all mud sticking to them. And the other girl said, in a mixture of some feeling of horror, that, my mother gets carrots from Tesco. You didn't get it? Yeah, she thinks, what's this? Some coming out of the ground with mud on it. It's probably not even straight, fully straight. We use Tesco carrots. These that's a real carrot. What's this thing you're pulling out of the ground? So many things. We can learn so many things from Mother Earth. Isn't it? When you get into that, you can learn so many things from Mother Earth. Mother Earth, yeah, she's the wife of Vishnu, yeah, Vrahar avatar. So, yeah, I sung this song this morning. Probably most of you are not familiar with it. Probably most of you sung it for the first time. It's in this, I discovered it in this Bengali songbook published by the BBT in Mayapur. I sung it because it is suitable for opening a Shravan Kirtan camp. You'll see toward the end of the song, it says, Shravana Kirtana Karo Anukhana. So I'll go through the whole song. Amen, O mind, Harinama Karosha, make the holy name the essence, so the essence of your whole being. E bhava shaga hobe bali chara, hatia hoibe pa. In this ocean of material existence, there will be a crossing. Balichar, made of sand, which means it's not going to last very long. It's only in Kali Yuga, only in a short time in Kali Yuga. But if you walk across it, you can get across. We can get across the ocean of material existence by this crossing, which is the holy name of Krishna, Harinam. Then, Dharma Karama. Dharma means following all our religious duties and doing work. Work is worship, you have mainly heard. Which is true if it's work for Krishna, but not just working like an ass. So by There are different processes given here. By following all the religious rules of life, by being a responsible worker, by japa. You may think, well, japa, that means Harinam, doesn't it? But there are other, japa doesn't mean only Harinam, it can mean, quite common in India, people do. When I say common, means up to 15 or 20 years ago, and then everything's completely gone to hell. Well, not completely, but pretty much. So a japa, fairly famous, is Mrityunjay japa, prayers to Lord Shiva. Tapa, tapasya, that's jnana, you know the word jnana, the attempt to become liberated by acquiring knowledge of the self. Yoga means all different kinds of yoga, except here it means all kinds of yoga except Bhakti yoga. And jag means yagya, dhyan, meditation. Nahi, nahi, nahi. That's equivalent to kalo nascheva, nascheva, nascheva gatiranyata. No, it means no, 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 or not, not, not. Kalite keval, in Kali Yuga only, kevala upai, the only method is Govindanam. It's the only way. Then some more ideas. Well, what about bhukti? What about enjoying this material world? What about mukti? What about getting free from this material world? What about this? What about that? Jai gati, shai gati. Tahe na kori horoti. Don't get hung up on any of these. They're just like meghera chaya. They're like, you may feel good about them by doing them, but they're like the shade that is provided by a cloud. This is a suitable analogy for a hot climate like Bengal, where the cloud is often very welcome, because most of the year there's a strong sun and the cloud is welcome to give shade, but it doesn't last very long. So all of these processes, or all of these diversions, they give relief just like the shade of a cloud. So don't say that these are real processes or these are real goals. Instead, Badana Bharya Hari Hari Bolo. Fill your mouth chanting the names of Hari. Amana Shula Bakabi. When will you get such an opportunity? So easy, like this. It's a rhetorical question. Bharata Bhumite Manusha Janama Arki Amana Hobe. Birth in the land of Bharata, which is often identified with India, but can be extrapolated to mean the whole planet Earth. Bharata, to attain human birth in the land of Bharata. When again will you get such an opportunity? Just see all the evidence of the Puranas. From all of them we can understand there's nothing equal to the holy name. And then why? Because if one attains taste for the holy name, then love of Krishna will arise in the heart, and from that one will attain Krishna. Premete Hari Kepai. Then Shravana Kirtana, that's the subject of this camp. Shravana Kirtana Karo Anukana, means moment after moment go on hearing and chanting. Ashatta Pachala Chari. You have any Bengalis here? Pachal money? Bhaje Kata, yeah. So give up. Ashat means everything which is not good or true or eternal, and give up gossip. Just give it up. Just go on hearing and chanting and give up bhaje kata, useless talk. Kahe Premananda, the author of this song is called Premananda, and he says, make this manusha janma, make this human life successful, and don't delay. Don't think, well, I'll do it later. So the whole song speaks of Harinam, and at the end he says Shravan Kirtan. So we may think, well, when he says Shravan, he means to hear the holy name. That is, of course, one aspect of Shravan. But in general sense, Shravan is understood to mean hearing talks of Krishna, particularly from scripture, particularly from Srimad Bhagavatam, from devotees, discussing and hearing from devotees. And there are many verses about this, songs about this, songs, Bhaja Hure Mana Sri Nandanandan Abhaya Charanara Vindare Durlabha Manava Janama Shatsange Taraha Ebhava Sindhure. So this again tells us to take to the mind, again it's addressed to the mind, to worship Nandanandana Krishna, whose lotus feet are fearless. It's very rare to get the association of devotees. It's very rare to get human life, first of all, and then again to get association of devotees. So what should we do in the association of devotees? We should Shravana Kirtana Smarana Bandhana Pada Shevana Dasyare Pujana Shakijana Atma Nivedana Govinda Dasa Abhilashara. We should follow all the 9 processes of devotional service, of which Shravan comes first. The Shravan and Kirtan, they are intimately linked. We may think that, well, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam, so there's no need for hearing anything. We just go on chanting. So that's good if we can do so, like Haridas Thakur. But even if we're chanting, or even if it appears that we have much taste for chanting, still it is required to hear also. We could be chanting, but not, and appear to have a taste for the holy name, but not actually be pleasing Krishna fully. If we have a misconception about Krishna, if we think that Krishna is the provider of fuel for the fire of my, the blazing fire of my desire for sense gratification, then we can call to Krishna with much feeling, but that won't fully please Krishna. If we think that Krishna will supply my sense gratification in another way, I will become a gopi and Krishna will kiss me and I will be happy, that's also a misconception, because although one may aspire to be a gopi, when one has stopped aspiring to enjoy this material world, one may have such aspirations, but that should be for the pleasure of Krishna. So all these points have to be heard. Otherwise, many Mayavadis and Sahajiyas, they also chant the holy name of Krishna. But we have to hear to clearly understand who is Krishna that we are to pray to. In this regard, there is a section within this book, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, which describes how one man, he was very much attached to Gaura, chanting the name Gaura, 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 Gaura. But then at one point his dearly beloved daughter contracted some disease, and despite all the best efforts of the doctors, despite his going to his guru and worshipping his guru with great faith, the girl died with prolonged pain and suffering. And then he stopped chanting Gaura. And if anyone asked him why, he would say, Gaura? There's no such person as Gaura. What do you mean? He's not God. If he was, he would have listened to me. I'm his devotee. He wouldn't have let my daughter die in such circumstances. When Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur heard this, someone came to him and asked, how is it that his devotion just melted and went? He was so attached to God. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said he never chanted the name of Gaura actually. He was calling out to his misconception of what he considered Gaura to be. A supplier of, this was his saying, a supplier of fuel to the fire of his sense gratification. I'll chant your name, I'll do bhakti, and you have to make me happy. This is the attitude. And then he gave a whole list, verse after verse after verse, of pure devotees, how they pray to Krishna. In the mood of na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, ashra shava padaratam, and so on. He said that this is not the Gaura, he's calling out Gaura and Krishna. This is not the Krishna who Rupa Goswami prays to, who Srivas Thakur prayed to. Srivas Thakur, his son died while Gaura was dancing, and the women of the house started crying naturally, and he told them, "Shut up, you stupid women." I didn't say it, he said it. You're disturbing Gaura's chanting and dancing. Gaura is chanting in our house, they even let 100 children die. But if you don't stop crying, I'm going to go to the Ganga immediately and drown myself. He threatened them. Because he didn't want even such a calamity. He didn't want that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy would be disturbed. So that is pure devotion. And the chanting along with hearing is required so that our consciousness will be fixed on Krishna, understanding Krishna to be supreme, acting only for his pleasure, for his service. Iha yasya harer dasye karmana. No, that's a different verse. Sarvo padi vinir muktam tatparat vena nirmalam. Rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. One of the several definitions of bhakti is to be free from all mundane designations and therefore free from all mundane considerations. As long as we're thinking, I am this body, I am this mind, then we desire gratification, mundane gratification for the body and mind. But when we're free from that and our only identification is that I am the servant of Krishna. And who is Krishna? Tat Paratva. He is the supreme. Knowing this, taking Krishna as supreme, that's the real meaning of being a servant. That's why then nirmalam, means without any personal desire whatsoever. Then, when we engage our senses in the service of the master of the senses, that is called bhakti. So this Shravan is required also. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gave an analogy that just like Krishna, who is complete, Purnamadaha Purnamidam, he is the complete. So everything is in him. He is in everything. Nothing is separate from him. He controls everything. He is the overlord of everything. But he feels himself incomplete without Radha. Therefore, complete understanding of Krishna is as Radha Krishna. And we can completely and properly serve Krishna when we serve Radha Krishna. So in the same, just as Krishna is full and perfect, but a full and perfect and complete understanding of him is as Radha Krishna. So in the same way, Kirtan is full and perfect, but Kirtan still has to be with Shravan. The relation of Shravan with Kirtan is comparable to that of Radha with Krishna. And of course, Srila Prabhupada, among all the many gifts that he gave to us, he gave to us a regular program of hearing and chanting about Krishna. Hearing means discussing topics of Krishna. He personally set the example of speaking indefatigably about Krishna, literally day and night. Srila Prabhupada spoke topics of Krishna. And chanting. Nowadays in our movement there's a lot of emphasis on chanting in kirtan. Kirtan melas have become very popular, and japa retreats have become very popular. So that's nice, but I prefer to organize Shravan Kirtan festivals where there's hearing, discussing Shastra and Kirtan. And especially I thought, because I have disciples scattered here, there and everywhere, I thought to organize this. It's easier for me if they come to me, if you come to me, rather than I go to them. That's more practical also. Then you can all get to see each other. And others also like to come also. Just like Kuver Prabhu has come from Houston. And I've known especially his brothers for how many years? I don't know. At least 25. You also know in Krishna Kirti, in Baroda, Kashyap, Sham Chandra. Yeah. So Kuver is it actual brother?
Yeah,
actual brother. You're the eldest, is it?
No, Kashyap
Kashyap is the eldest. And Kashyap is the junior.
Kashyap is older than me.
Still? I see. Okay, sorry. If you misestimate someone's age in the Western world and make them older, that's especially if they're a woman. You might get put in prison for misogyny. So he's very kindly come, and my godbrother Chandrasekhar Prabhu has come very kindly. He's Mr. Enthusiasm. Look on the bright side after all these years. And he's going to be speaking tomorrow, I believe it's tomorrow evening, is it?
Tomorrow morning, 9:45.
Tomorrow 9:45, yeah. It might run a little later if you don't have things running on like clockwork. If you can, but anyway, he's going to be speaking on one project that he's been working on for how many years? 25 years? 30 years. Preaching to prisoners in jail. Last night we read about this material world is a jail. And he's taken it upon himself to, in the service of Srila Prabhupada, preach to persons who make that analogy possible. And generally we'd think such people are the lowest of the low, but he's discovered they can also be the sweetest of the sweet. So he's going to be speaking on that, and also Krishna Kirti Prabhu is going to be speaking on one subject which I asked him to take up, because where I'm going, traveling here and there, quite a few of my disciples are rather perturbed about various situations concerning myself and how to understand it and how to react to it. So actually he and I and a few others have, for how many years? When was the infamous GHQ formed? In 98. 98. So for 18 years we've been cognizant of and considering how to counteract various influences within Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON which are coming, at least as we perceive it, as you have to say in discourse, or we can just leave that out altogether, coming from the modern secular humanistic or whatever you want to call it background. Actually, I was just in Detroit, and there's one, we met there, one priest. How old is he? He may
40. Maybe 40. His name's Father Joseph.
Yeah, 40? Yeah. You thought so? I was thinking he was maybe younger, but I was thinking he looks younger, but I thought maybe he's older because people who live a clean life, they don't age so quickly. So he's a Greek Orthodox priest, but he's taking serious interest in Krishna consciousness. And he is also very concerned with the influence of what we might call, secular humanism it's a good enough umbrella to throw everything under. Throw it under the bus is that's another saying of influences from the. Anyway, he'll tell you about it. He's more from the modern way of thinking. There are culture wars in America, as you may be aware, and they influence especially religious societies or religious traditions, let's say, and also within ISKCON. So I asked him to speak about that. It's a delicate topic. I'll be taking questions and answers on Saturday, is it, afternoon? So I'm open. So I'll try and answer. We don't have to bring up generally I don't like to bring up controversial. Generally I don't, but devotees bring them to me, and I feel that it's my duty also to answer them, not just to talk about all the nectar, but to talk about problems, things that bother devotees' minds and causes them to be disturbed in their Krishna consciousness. So I feel it's my duty to answer such questions, delicate as it may be. Another seminar will be given, Krishna willing, by Sridhar Shamprabhu. He's going to be speaking on some Varnashram projects, especially those that I'm overseeing in India, especially about Nandagram in Gujarat. Did you go to the? You didn't go to the others. You only went to that one in Gujarat. To say Varnashram project, it's a bit of an overblown statement actually. Maybe we should just say farm projects. At least we got the farm bit together. The ashram bit is there also. That's fairly easy. But the Varna thing, actually Srila Prabhupada said first Varna, then ashram. Although it seems, it's a big topic, no doubt. And even before starting these projects, we spent several years researching, discussing. Even after starting the projects, we're still, we have regular discussions on how to deal with various situations that arise, dealing with laws which militate against such projects, financing, and so many things. So it's a great challenge, but by Srila Prabhupada's grace, Srila Prabhupada wanted this so much, we've made some kind of start, and he'll be talking about that. So I request that you all come. It's a tight schedule, but try and attend all the programs. You can make up on sleep on the plane back if you're going back by plane, not if you're driving back. Don't drive if you're tired, please. Devotees tend to push themselves and then they're driving and don't ever drive if you feel tired. Be late. Have your boss yell at you, but don't drive if you're tired. So while you're here, please attend all the programs. Vaishnava dress. We believe there is such a thing as Vaishnava dress. There are certain members of our movement who don't believe there is even such a thing, but that is preferable for everyone, in the temple especially. That is our identity. Sarvopadi vinir muktam. We were freed from all mundane designations, but we like to dress as Krishna likes to see his devotees dressed. So at least while you're coming for the programs, please wear Vaishnava dress, and cell phones off during the programs. It'd be nice at one point if we could have a photo all together. What would be the best time for that? Group photo. Maybe tomorrow morning after the late morning session. Kedarnath,
Yes.
you can you organize the photo shooting? Okay, that's really an introductory talk. It's not really a full-fledged class. Any questions in the 5 minutes that we have? Yes, please.
Short comment.
Mm.
The story about the chanter of Gora poses materialistic demands are not met. He stopped chanting Gora. The same thing happened to Darwin. He had several children, but one of them was an 8-9-year-old girl, and she got a terminal disease. And he went to the church and he prayed to God and everything, and the girl died. And from that point on, he decided to destroy Christianity.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And then he went on his long trip.
And Krishna gave him the intelligence.
Yes, good intelligence. And he tried his best to destroy Christianity.
Krishna gives intelligence to the demons also.
That is the danger of approaching God from materialistic.
Right. He's not obliged to fulfill our desires, and if he doesn't fulfill, then we become an atheist.
Just like
Prabhupada described okay, you tell it.
No, go ahead.
The Germans, it's a famous example.
Yes.
You please say?
Well, people like to go fishing a lot here in the Pacific Northwest. So I tell the story of a person who knows something about Krishna consciousness and goes fishing and throws his hook into the river and he says, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. Now the question is, will Krishna give him a fish?
He might do. He might give him the body of a fish also.
Yeah, he'll give him a body. But no, why should he give him a fish? Krishna is not going to give something to a person that's detrimental to their spiritual life. And therefore, or a person who goes to Las Vegas, on the crap table, and he gets the dice and goes, Hare Krishna, and throws the dice. Now, is Krishna going to give him a win, a 7-11 win on the dice throw? No. Why should he? It's not good for his spiritual life.
Well, he might do. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur talked about that also. He talked about two kinds of mercy. One, real mercy, and cheating kind of mercy. That people, they think, Krishna, give me your mercy, let me win the jackpot or something like that. And because Krishna, he may reciprocate it. If you want to be cheated, Krishna will cheat you and think that now I've got the mercy of Krishna, but he's actually, then he becomes deprived of the real mercy. So that's also part. Krishna's independent, he can do what he likes. But for his devotees, it's more likely the yasyaham anugrahnami harshe tadhanam shanai tato dhanam tyajantyasya swajana dukkha dukkitam. The verse that you don't preach to newcomers especially. I should give the meaning of it, which means, Krishna says, to those who I especially favor, I gradually take away all their wealth, and when they become penniless, then his friends and relatives abandon him, and he becomes very sad. And that's Krishna's mercy, isn't it? What kind of a God is that? Better I go to... That's why this Shirdi Sai Baba is so popular. You get what you want. Maya's working through him.
Wow.
Otherwise, why would so many people go? He's being empowered by Krishna to cheat people.
Srila Prabhupada explains in the first chapter, 32nd to 35th verse, Arjuna refers to Krishna as Govinda. But in his mind, he's thinking Govinda means that he'll satisfy my desires. Prabhupada says that's not the purpose of Govinda. Govinda means that he's the object of pleasure of all the senses. And if we take the opposite route, rather than asking Govinda to please us, we please Govinda. When we ask Govinda to please us, he only gives us what we deserve by our previous karma, not more, not less. But if we desire to please Govinda, then there's no limit to what he can give us. Just like for Prabhupada, there's no limit to how he bless Prabhupada, because his only desire was to please his Guru Krishna. So this is the secret of success in Krishna consciousness. Not to ask God for something for ourselves, but to simply desire to please God or Krishna.
Thy will, not mine, be done. But a pure devotee, he doesn't even have any, he comes to the stage where he doesn't even have any other will, except he doesn't have any separate desire. His only desire is to please Krishna. Not that he's thinking, well, I'd like to enjoy sense gratification, but anyway I'll serve Krishna. But by Krishna's grace that becomes purified away. Of course, in the case of Jesus, he knew what was going to come. It was pretty horrific. So it's not unnatural to think that, well, this is horrible. But anyway, if you want it, God, let it be. That was his prayer. Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. Go ahead. Hare Krishna.